You are now listening to No Dumb Idea. No Dumb Idea. No Dumb Idea.
You are now listening to No Dumb Idea.
Autism. Hey guys, it's me, Dala. I'm
Sorry, I just had to activate my superpower.
yeah. No, I'm just doing my job for autism awareness. I'm trying to make sure listeners here are aware. And who am I joined by for this holiday month?
Holiday month. Gibbledang here.
Yeah, it's quite the holiday, honestly. And this is
Holiday
GymleaderNate here to celebrate the holiday.
Yeah.
Holiday month.
I hope you guys we did our job. Everyone's aware. Autism. That's all we had to do.
That's what I call.
Yeah,
That's what I
alright.
call it when I accidentally sneak up on someone because I didn't realize I was walking silently.
Autism awareness.
Ah, I see. That's why you announce it
Nice.
everywhere you go. I'm
No,
not
no.
in the room now.
Yeah. Don't be
That's
scared.
Nate. He's autistic.
It's me.
GymleaderNate entering the room.
Yeah. An autistic is entering the room.
Be aware.
Everyone,
Or
warning,
be very much
warning.
aware. Yeah. Everyone genuflect for me.
Now
my month.
announcing
No.
his royal autisticness. Sorry.
GymleaderNate.
Leader of Nates.
That's it.
He has all the
Oh, I
autistic
thought you were gonna say
Pokemon.
leader of. I thought there was a title to Leader of Nates.
Oh my god,
It's-
newest Nuzlocke
Yeah.
idea. Autistic Pokemon
What?
only.
Okay.
Ooh,
First
right,
figuring
before we
out
delve
whatever
in,
the
actually,
fuck that means, and then picking those.
Yeah, I'm like,
Pokemon.
what does
so
that mean?
before all that,
I did see someone post like, here's all the Pokemon that look like they're high, and it's like from the cards, and so it's like
That's a good
fucking Wheezy, yeah, it's like all the ones that look like they're just high or
one.
smoking.
Venusaur from Pokemon Stadium.
That's not today. Yeah, actually, that's a good one. That's not today's episode. Like I had mentioned at top, it's Autism Awareness Month, so I thought, why not look and see different autism portrayals through media, So I did make a slide for my co-host.
Because they've been
Autism.
Because they've really been running away with it recently. So
Yeah.
so you turn to the most autistic people you know, right?
I will say, I guess I will preface that, so we're going to go over a bunch of different things here about, good portrayals. Actually, we have a table of contents. Why don't we just go through that? So we have, we're going to talk about what ASD is, Hollywood version, and some of the tropes, such as super autism, Deus Ex autism, and the savant.
Ooh, Deus Ex autism.
Creeps
I
or
love that.
losers,
mm-hmm.
and sudden autism, which are some of the 4 tropes that I've kind of, through my research, created / have found in my research.
Yeah, I've got ASD.
We're gonna have discussions
Awesome
and
sex dick.
Yeah.
ooh,
I also have ASD, but it's awful sex dick.
awful to. I have autism sex dick.
Okay, that makes sense.
Actually, yours Gibbledang is just awfully small dick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good. That's a pretty good
Sorry,
one.
I forgot. You're my doctor too, Nate.
Yeah, I had to look at it way too
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
That's what the gym leader part is.
Which
MD.
actually, I'm gonna need another appointment tomorrow. Actually.
All
All right, I guess. Come on down. If you insist.
Shit. But yeah, so I just thought we would go over kind of some of them because, honestly, media portrayal of autism is always on point. Always
It's
100%
always
accurate. Always
phenomenal.
the best. Yes, 100%. Never bad. But yeah, just to kind of start off with, autism. It's a neurological and developmental disorder which affects one's communication, social skills, and/or behaviors, amongst other things. I don't know if you guys feel free to add wherever you guys want.
I mean,
If there's anything particularly.
Yeah, a good example of this was the other day somebody thought that I was saying something seriously when I made a joke about coming into work and having there be piss on the floor of the bathrooms, and I joked that the prep guys were peeing on the floor on purpose because they hate me. But then I forgot to use inflection or facial expressions, so somebody thought I was serious and went and tried to tell them
Oh
I
my
was
God.
talking shit about them.
oh no.
I was like,
Nice.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. I think I forgot to make it clear I was joking to that person, and I just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's awesome.
I definitely don't. It could be some of those things. It could be all of those things. Sometimes it's all of them all at
It's a
once.
spectrum.
It's a spectrum. It's very, very, very
Mm-hmm.
wide. I guess growing up, I had heard about autism, but I feel like research and knowledge has like really exploded in the last I don't know, maybe decade.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, every time you would hear that,
Yeah.
it's like that would get lumped in with like someone having Down syndrome. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Yeah, or like intellectual disability.
exactly. But then at the same time, intellectual disabilities back then immediately meant bad, wrong, troubled.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they still kind of do.
Well,
I never got-
yeah.
But not as much. Just
Yeah.
more.
I never got tested for autism or ADHD when I should have been tested for both because my parents were terrified of me being labeled as like different, because of that misunderstanding of these things and thinking that like, oh, if you have this type of disorder, then obviously like you can't do anything well and you're not going to be able to get through school or do
disability.
things. But
Yeah.
yeah, and so since I was able
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
some things, they were convinced that he's just lazy and not
There's
trying
nothing wrong with
at
you.
the other things. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, joke's on you, mom and dad. There's plenty of wrong with us.
Yep.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
And it's not the
Yeah.
autism. That's the one ranking.
And it's genetic. Thanks
It's-
for that.
It's the MTG. yeah. No, but I'll say it's funny in my research. There's because I've watched a lot of YouTubers, read a lot of articles, try to collect. So, I guess to preface, for me at least with this slideshow, a lot of the stuff is stuff that some of it's stuff I know from experience, as far as media portrayals, and a lot of it though is I was reading up on what's the first movie with autism, what's the comic book autism, and the video game representations, which there's a couple. So some of this stuff I haven't experienced. A lot of it though I try to get curated and cross-reference through different people, because the thing is that's funny is there's a lot of YouTubers with autism that will often review autism representation in media. So I'd be what would be a good, what would be not a good one. I was gonna say it is a spectrum, so it's it's gonna look different. There's a lot of different even Autism Awareness Month. It's kind of that's a weird thing to be dedicate to a month.
That's
but
everything, yeah.
yeah, everyone just has their own opinion and thoughts on it, and the pros and cons essentially.
Mhm.
We should put Black History Month, Autism Month, and Women's Month in the same month.
All in one. I think so too. Just kidding. Also, I just to add to the behavioral, some behaviorals that commonly are seen with autism for listeners. It's restrictive interest, so that's kind of being hella into Sonic or something, trains, and not wanting to or having trouble
Hyperfixations.
relating to others.
Really nailed the first
Yeah.
two examples there.
Trains are Sonic. Great.
And he
That's
a
stereotype.
Just hit that to the stomach
Well, what's funny in my research too. I saw someone on Reddit was what's the deal with autism people, autistic people loving Sonic the Hedgehog? It's just I don't need to go down that
I
rabbit
think I
hole.
saw a video of that too. Yeah, there's a couple autistic videos I've seen.
I will say I also I know a lot of autistic people. I've worked with some autistic people before too. So
Professionally, I would say.
yeah, I reached out to some to also get some ideas for positive or negative representations.
Mhm.
But yeah, so restrictive interests, executive functioning difficulties, and overstimulation are just some, and as well as stimming and other behaviors. But I know what you're thinking. What about Hollywood autism? What's that like? What's the diagnosis there? Yeah. So Hollywood autism is a stereotype representation, obviously, often portrayed by cis white male. Often men either portrayed or the characters that they focus in on are cis white males. Sometimes kids too. I feel is a big one.
I didn't think about that, but that's so true.
That's true.
Yeah, I found a couple examples of that don't adhere to that, but it's more common, at least especially early on. Yeah, many times they're played by neurotypical actors or don't represent it well. Commonly portrayed as nerdy, annoying, weird, creepy. Sometimes they're a burden or have unfulfilling lives and some portrayals. But yeah, so we'll delve into the tropes a little bit
I'm
more. I mean,
so
is there anything
ready.
you guys want to add?
No, this is so right on point.
But yeah, so let's go to the first trope. And so in my research, I found some people would divide it into multiple tropes. There's one main trope or maybe two tropes that really dominate the media portrayals. And these might be good portrayals. They might be bad. Most times are bad, but there might be some good ones. But I thought I would highlight some first, and then from there we can, if you guys want to add on, or if there's any that you also picked out, I'll let you guys take over.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one we have is super autism. It's trope number 1, which is basically just autism as a superpower, either literally or just like in just their like superhuman ability to do a thing. So some examples I gathered.
Yeah, my boy.
Dude, Rain. Yeah, I got your boy in the background. Video listeners or video watchers, you'll see the boy.
Rain
Rainman.
Rain Man from 1988, one of the big popular ones. In that Tom Cruise makes friends with
Dustin Hoffman.
I forget his name, like the actor's name.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yes, Dennis
But
Hopper.
I think it's his
Dustin
brother.
Hoffman.
It's his
Who?
Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman is
Gotcha.
Tom Cruise's brother, who is an autistic with savant syndrome. And the whole time, Tom Cruise is like, "Oh, you're so fucking annoying. You're so fucking annoying." Until it turns out that he could fucking count cards.
Help him
Count.
pull scams,
Yeah, and then all of a
count
sudden-
cards.
Which is, he can count well.
And then all of a sudden, it's like Tom Cruise is like, "Wow, I really learned something today. Like, autistic people will help your character growth, if they have monetary value." So that's kind of
Yeah. When he
Oh,
he
yeah.
exploits him for, like the counting
I looked it up
abilities.
again just to double check too, and a key part of the plot is that he reconnects with Dustin Hoffman specifically because their
Mhm.
father, who is a rich multimillionaire, dies and decides to leave his whole inheritance to Dustin Hoffman, and so Tom Cruise's character basically tries to like cozy up to him to try and get some of the money, and that's how he ends up learning about him.
Since I know this is an example given, but this is something that I had on my list too. But it seems like there's a lot of back and forth between whether or not it's an accurate portrayal or if it did more harm than good. Because I see it. I mean, honestly, I saw on Reddit like people were saying like, "Oh, like the portrayal is good, but the whole propping him up as a device to make the fucking cis white male character
main character."
So.
And that's one thing what I saw in this too is like, because it's based on a book, which is based on like
A real
the writer
person.
wrote, I think, about an actual real, and so it's like, okay, so it exists. I don't know. I'm sure it's exaggerated. I don't know if he counted fucking 248 toothpicks or 246 toothpicks, like dropping them,
Right.
Like, I don't know if that's accurate, but I think that the big thing that I saw as far as like with this like autism as a superpower thing in general is that it portrays, because it's a very common, this is probably the most common trope, really, like the savant or super autism, really. And in what I've seen, it's like it skews the portrayal to like, this is what autism is, not like the other stuff, not the stimming or not the, I guess he stims too probably. And that's like the harm here is that
They're
It's like
they're
incapable. They're
Yeah.
like, although they are some like super geniuses, like they're still incapable in everyday day-to-day life.
Yeah. And they're losers for it.
it's hard if all of media says that if you have autism you're supposed to be really really good at some things,
Exactly.
and then in real
one
life
thing or two
you're a
things,
real
yeah.
person with autism who's not very good at those things.
Nuanced
and so
and-
instead you're just disabled. It's like, wow, it's almost like most of the time this is just a hurdle and not something awesome.
Yeah. The next example I've got is Mercury Rising from 1998 film. Bruce Willis teams up with the hacker boy. There's just more started reading about it.
Bruce won't isn't.
Oh yeah, he won't isn't.
Bru-
That's the boy's name actually. That's his
It
son's
says
name.
Bruce Willis and Bruce won't isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bruce Willis and his son Bruce won't isn't. It's essentially the kid. It's one of those. It's very socially
Inept.
like struggles and. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to say inept, but basically, yeah, he like struggles socially. Gets frustrated easily, but then he's able to hack the government, and you give him CIA codes, and he's able to figure out like what's going on, kind of
CIC.
shit. And it's like it's based on a book.
Commander
too.
and Cock.
The CIC. Ooh, nice.
Interesting.
It's a boy you're talking about. It's a little boy you're talking
never mind.
about.
Yeah, that's right.
Then you're talking about Bruce Willis. You were saying Bruce Willis is the CIC. Yeah, so that's we also have obviously the
Yes,
Predator.
my favorite one.
Yes.
Oh my god,
That's also
I hate that this genuinely
one
is
of
my
the-
favorite representation of autism. Just because obviously it's so fucking wrong and it's so fucking stupid.
Where
Yeah.
autism is the next step in evolution.
So
it's just
we talked
go
about
ahead.
this last episode where Dala and I well, I guess Dala got drunk while we were watching this, and fucking Jesus Christ, one of the worst movies, but also best experiences I've had. Yeah, the predators see autism as like, so in this movie they established that the predators take DNA from each of their hunts and like upgrade themselves with it, and they at one point they find this boy, I don't know, I don't care, but they're like, oh, his autism is gonna be the next step in predator evolution, and this fucking kid could read the predator language in like 2 minutes. Like he syncs up with the technology, and he's just like,
Yeah, dude,
I think he's also a hacker kid who's just like, oh, I've managed to
Just
maybe break
I
into the
can see
mainframe
it now.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Autistic people are good at math and
Reading
hacking, apparently.
languages that don't exist. You know what? I could also read languages that don't exist. You show me a language like
Yeah.
that, I'll be like,
Oh my god, maybe you're
I'll be like,
autistic.
okay,
Like,
read this, and I'll be like,
Gibbledang,
Trust me, this is what it says.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, oh yeah.
let
yeah,
me
for
go,
sure.
please.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
trust
want
me.
to see my family. That's not what it says.
You know-
They zap me with the cattle prod.
Yeah,
You know what my
we gotta believe
you know what
him.
my favorite I wanted to mention too, my favorite super autism portrayal. This one's kind of different. It's kind of different because I genuinely think this was like an actually pretty good job, because
Mhm.
it's from a TV show called Alphas.
Alphas. Okay.
It's a show about people with superpowers. Like there was a character who they didn't have superpowers because they were autistic. They just were one of the people who randomly developed superpowers, and
Mhm.
they happened to be autistic. And so
Wait, is it a whole team or is it like just one person that's like?
it's like a
autistic.
person gathers a team from people in society that they like were able to find out like have been exhibiting traits that show that they're like hiding that they have a superpower, and it's like very
Okay.
X-Men-esque.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this character, he is autistic, and he has the ability to see waves in the air.
Ah.
So he can see like radio waves, like all
Yeah.
different types of signals.
Yeah.
And so he like can see them in the air, and then like they do the classic like
So he's like overstimulation.
like Minority Report-esque, like, yeah, basically
That's the
like
worst for an autistic
Oh,
character.
gotcha.
it implies that the
Yeah.
reason why he's always like looking in 1,000 places and constantly distracted and not paying attention is because he's reading the like hundreds of signals that are all flying through the air at any given time.
Jesus.
And I just thought that was like an interesting
Oh, man.
interpretation, because like there are actual people with autism who suffer from things that are similar to that, like being able to hear electricity
Synesthesia.
is a
Mm.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there are synesthetic problems that people with autism actually experience, and I thought that was actually like
They actually
one of the
turned it
few
into a
times where it felt-
superpower.
like yeah, they were like
Yeah.
they were it's weird because like they turned the autism into a superpower without implying that he has the superpower because he's autistic, and I feel like that was what made it more digestible for me. It was just like coincidence.
It's
Yeah.
like coincidental. Yeah. That's fine. I was saying it's like it reminds me of like Daredevil, where it's like this man that can see extra better, but he's also blind. And it's like this person that can sense sensations, but they don't like sensation
Yeah.
because they're autistic. You know,
Mhm.
it's like made me think of that a
So I
little
want to
bit.
clarify for this
No-
trope. Do they
Mhm.
these characters socially, are they like not to say inept, but they're like they can't do anything else except one thing that they're really good at?
So that one I have for what I call the Deus Ex autism, which is the next trope. Actually, one thing I do want to mention about the Predator before, though, is it's funny. Is like as I was making this, I was like, man, I don't really watch too many like media portrayals of autism. I think often because I'm just like, yeah, I think just for me, I'm like, oftentimes it's either often exploitative or it's just like I don't want to see a shitty portrayal of autism.
Yeah.
But the Predator is one that I have seen, and I think a big part of it though is because it's a Predator movie,
Yeah.
but also because it's just such a wild, dumb premise of
That movie's incredibly
predators
good.
are looking for autism.
And I realized too that movie
Yeah.
has Thomas Jane, and he has Tourette's, but
Oh,
he
yeah.
has the fucking titty pussy coke. Fucking I'm gonna fucking
Oh, the
he's got-
fucking-
oh god, just
of
perfect
course.
representations across
the
the
Eric
board.
Cartman.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Titty balls. God, so fucking
Yep.
stupid.
But yeah, I'll move on to the next trope. I mean, if you guys think of any other, feel free. We could sprinkle them in whenever if they don't fit any of these
Give
tropes.
him the old spring.
But next one we have is the Deus Ex autism or the Savant, And this is kind of like
savant, right?
characters that are like inept except for one specific thing. So, for example, I have the movie Mimic 1997. Chewie is a character in there who like just kind of like he repeats words. He's kind of more of like he's not nonverbal, but I don't think he really like says stuff. He like very repetitive, clicking like spoons. But he can like recognize people's shoe size by looking at them. He can like recreate like the clicking sound because Mimic is about like these monster bugs that like look like humans that are like human size.
Yeah.
And so he's able like to recognize people's shoe size, and he calls like one of the bugs, he's like, oh, funny feet or something like that, like and he'll say funny feet over and over, and that's like the kind of
technically Rain Man
portrayal.
falls into this again too, right?
Yeah, like the savant component, where I think I'm looking for more though,
Because
where
he
it's
actually
like,
has savant syndrome in that movie.
yeah. I think the superpower component for that, what I was thinking, is just like how extreme his like counting skills or math skills are. It's like it's a little like much, but another character is from Cube 1997 as well. Another horror movie, kind of like Saw, where some people get stuck in a cube and they have to get out, and it's like
Cube is so
math-based.
weird.
Yeah, the movie's fucked up.
Yeah, it's so it's fucking wild. I do love it though. I will say it's one of those
That
like
one got me as a kid.
yeah. But yeah, there's a character, Kazan, in there who just, like, I think he doesn't even speak or he, like, babbles. But then, like, Deus Ex Autism, he's like, I can solve the cube. Like, I know the numbers. I can fucking calculate in math, like, almost up to infinity. And, like,
Up to
helps them
infinity.
get out. Or, like,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Oh,
Dude, that's
notably almost up to infinity. Technically,
almost.
technically all of us can do math almost up to infinity, depending on when you draw your line.
That's true.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Where do you put the
Like,
border?
once you're like over 100, like it's just eventually it's infinity. So like up to that point, I can do
Yeah.
math.
What I got there?
You're pretty much there. Just keep multiplying that and you're good. Yeah, and then another one I got was The Good Doctor, the American version.
Yeah, I would say this one.
He's a surgeon. He's a surgeon.
This one definitely also fits into the social
Savant.
outcast one.
Yeah.
Because if you watch clips from that show, they beat over the head over and over that he is uncomfortable to be around.
Yeah.
Like the number one story of that show is this person is uncomfortable to be around and sucks. Like that's like, oh,
gosh.
are you trans? He's just gonna like dead name you
Yeah.
and call you a man to your face.
Wow.
Because that's what autism is.
And then the show will also be like, he was right at the end. It might have been
Yeah.
a good thing that he did that.
yeah, maybe
because-
it's good that
Don't you guys feel sympathetic?
he has offensive autism.
So that's class.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like that's
one-
been memed to death. People kind of get that.
And that's another one where people all thought for a while that the actor was autistic, and then it turns out that it's just some dude
Nope.
who said he's like, oh, I have
It's just
an
right now.
autistic acting, or I have an acting trainer who specializes in teaching people how to act autistic, and everyone's like,
I feel like people
What?
would be stupid for thinking that because he's also
gosh.
been in a shit ton of movies before he was the Good Doctor.
Yeah.
Who's Charlie?
Well, it's
Charlie
because
and the
He's just
Chocolate
masking.
it's the classic.
masking.
It's the classic.
That's Charlie? I didn't realize. Damn.
It's just the classic like Gen X and like high schoolers and stuff, like seeing somebody in something for the first time and being like, that's the only thing they've ever been in, and that's the only thing that exists with them in it.
He must actually be autistic.
I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was. He was an autistic little kid in Charlie the or whichever one that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, whichever one it is. It's funny, when I was doing my research, I didn't realize that The Good Doctor actually is a remake of I think it's South Korean is the original.
Oh.
And there's also like fucking like Brazil Good Doctor, fucking Afghanistan Good Doctor. There's like one. It's like
Interesting.
franchised. And in my research too, it's funny is like I feel like it was pretty positive reviews for the original South Korean one. And I think big part of it though too is that it's one season versus like for the American one at least it's like I don't even know, probably I'm assuming like 10 seasons by this point,
Yeah.
where it's like there's a thesis for that one season, I'm sure, of we want to tell this story, this is the character development, and we have 8 episodes or whatever, and then start to finish full story. Where like American one, it's like, now if the autistic doctor can't like make friends at the like mall and then he has
Yeah.
to like cut someone open, and like now it's even crazier surgery.
The Good Doctor is also like, it falls into this group of portrayals that have become more popular where they're like, okay, here is autistic character. Autistic character is really good at thing. so we're gonna have him be a professional at thing. But he's constantly running into walls and hurdles with the fact that he has extremely high needs autism. And it's like, people like constantly point out, like, if like a lot of these issues that the character has in his day-to-day, like when things pop up in the show, would have prevented him from ever becoming a doctor
in the first place.
almost all cases.
Yeah.
Like there's like there's like 1,000 different things where all of a sudden he like these things like send him screaming and running from the room. And it's like in real life, they like, people just don't tolerate that. They
especially in the medical med school.
In this magical world where everyone around him is willing to just overlook all of these things, doesn't actually exist. In the real world, people don't overlook it, they demonize you for it.
Then how about we switch the good doctor with Rain Man? We give him the old
what do you mean?
Like, put Rain Man over here, and take the good doctor and throw him over in in the first
get rid of him.
He walks out of surgery so that he can go watch his special TV show.
Nice, perfect.
20 minutes of Wapner.
I was gonna say maybe he got through medical school and everything because he's rich from his factory, his chocolate factory that he inherited.
There you go. Yeah, true. He bought his way.
He paid.
I have two that I want to bring up. One of them I haven't seen. But I was talking to my roommates about it. Ben Affleck's The Accountant, which I guess is getting a sequel.
Yeah,
he is an assassin, hitman, accountant who is autistic, who's really good with numbers. But I guess the fact that he's autistic helps him kill, and he's able to calculate. Like, it's one of those, like, I'm very meticulous and calculative kind of like, this is gonna be what helps me get my kill or whatever. Very I don't know. It was very interesting to hear because I haven't seen it.
Yes, I have, but I haven't. It's been a while.
I've seen clips from it, and it's always really weird and off-putting to see clips from it because in my brain, Ben Affleck does not read like a smart, meticulous guy in any way, shape, or form. I look at it and I'm just like, no, he reads like a guy you find in a bar in Boston who's screaming about other ethnicities. Like, that's what
I love black like people.
That's what I meant.
That's totally what you meant.
That's immediately what.
Oh, you fuck!
That's exactly what he be
fucking blow. Yeah. I like just walks into a room. I love black people.
Everybody get him.
You're like, that guy's not autistic?
Well, it would be Boston.
Are you sure that guy's not autistic? Actually,
Ben Affleck does not look he could be autistic. He looks like he would 100% say the R slur as often as possible, as soon as possible,
and he would hit the first R, but he would miss that second R.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Nice. I will say, like, I remember when I saw The Accountant, I remember like it's like a John Wick rip, like, whatever, you know. But I remember actually kind of liking it because I was like, okay, like, it's like autistic people finally got an action hero,
Ben Affleck,
one that we need. Ben Affleck. No, and that's funny because there's a scene though I will point out that he's shooting. It's just funny because I saw one of the YouTubers was like reacting to it too, but there's a scene where he's doing sniping practice on like some volleyballs or whatever. And on the volleyball, he drew like smiley face or like faces. And the YouTuber I saw that was watching, like, pointed out, he's like, holy shit, those are the ABA smiling faces he drew on there. So he's just like shooting like the ABA. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, attention to detail. Like, which,
wow.
Yeah. And for, I guess for listeners, ABA is applied behavioral analysis therapy. It's like a type of therapy that is used, kind of controversial.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too.
But for often kids or teens with autism to try to cure the autism, you know, get that autism out of them. Some people see it
as like you're trying to cure them, you're trying to fit them into like a system that doesn't work for them. So it's there's a lot of that's a tough one.
Yeah, there's again pros and cons.
That's why once you said that the faces were ABA, I'm like, oh shit, maybe it didn't work for him, and maybe like that's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, his is interesting because his dad is the one that basically trains him to become an assassin in a sense. Like, he's like,
dad's probably autistic, have autism too. That's fucking where everyone gets it.
Probably. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, I love those like posts where it's like, my grandma's like, "Oh, you're not autistic," or my mom's like, "You're not autistic," and then I go to her room and she has a bunch of clown dolls. Like,
She has an
little
entire
glass
case.
Yeah.
clowns.
You
It's like,
can't
"Don't
touch my
them."
clown doll.
Collects them. Yeah. It's like,
Oh, this
Okay.
is the cabinet of that one
Cool.
thing you're not allowed to touch,
Yeah.
look at, or even think about.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you get mad that I have a Sonic the Hedgehog cabinet that you're not allowed to touch. Okay,
Yeah.
bullshit.
I got the old 1-2 punch.
We're gonna be
dad
those-
probably
Yeah.
dad probably autistic, mom diagnosed ADHD, and then I got the fuck
Oh.
me sandwich.
Yeah.
So
Fuck me, I guess. Yeah. Let me see. Another character I just wanted is in Marvel Comics. There's a comic called Cyforce, which it's like from the fucking new universe. So it's like a whatever bullshit like universe. But there's a character called Johnny Dew, who's noted as maybe one of the first comic book portrayals of autism.
Johnny don't.
There's not. Yeah. More like him and
Won't
Bruce.
isn't.
Was it Bruce won't isn't?
Yeah.
Will team up. His shit his was kind of like, I don't know, he doesn't have too much about him though. It's literally he's a pyrokinetic, unrelated to the autism. But he was captured by Russian, and
That
he's
is
found
related
and he's
to
like
the
in
autism.
like a padded cell. That part is, yeah. They're like, get this autism out of here.
God. Yeah, they called
but
him
he's
autism.
mute and like,
Get this autism out of here.
Mhm.
yeah, Johnny Autism, get him.
Sorry, I don't mean to interject so much. I'm just so
Um,
excited.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're like, I love
I love
Johnny Do,
autism.
or more like Johnny Don't.
There you
Woo!
go. You're very aware of it.
I walk into a bar. I
Yeah,
love
that's
autism.
Get him!
Get him,
out
kick
of
his
here.
ass.
Sorry, I've been
guards,
hanging out
get
with
him,
Ben
demons.
Affleck too much.
Wait, one thing
Yeah.
I did want to, funny enough, because I did have that second one I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about, but it does like slot perfectly in with this
Oh
one.
yeah.
Reed Richards. I've seen a lot of people say that like Reed Richards
Yeah.
is, and maybe that could be brought up again later, but
It will be.
Mm.
Trust me, it will be.
The autism coded characters.
yeah, we'll get into that later then.
We'll get into that. We'll save that because I do have a whole section that
I
I'm
saw a
just
glimpse of this next slide. I'm very excited for it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have trope 3, which is the creep or loser. Like, so this is literally as it sounds. I mean, they're seen as a creepy or a man-child or like a burden. Like they live with their mom. Some examples we have include Fred Durst's 2019 masterpiece movie, The Fanatic, where John Travolta is just a creepy, stocky,
He's obsessed
fucking
with
autistic
movies.
person.
He's always quoting movies. He's
Yeah.
dressing up. He's stalking people. He's
Wow,
And
he's always quoting movies. I can't imagine what that would
Yeah.
be like.
it's
Can't imagine.
specifically like
It's funny you just
because
think
of his autism too. I think.
yeah.
Couldn't
It's
imagine.
and it's funny because this movie is like, so he's stalking this one specific celebrity, and the celebrity is painted as an asshole, but also John Travolta's painted as an asshole. So you're like, who am I supposed to root for? And in the end, I think they kill each other
Yeah.
too. So it's just like,
Sounds like you're
what
supposed
the
to
fuck
hate
is this
everybody.
movie?
Yeah. And it's one of those things where
Kinda,
it's like,
which-
yeah, I mean, obviously it's a bad portrayal of autism. It's like, oh, autism makes you a creep. It
Yeah.
makes you a weirdo, because you can't communicate.
You're gonna stalk and break
Yeah,
into people's houses.
It's another fantastic portrayal, right behind the Predator.
Yeah. It's funny. I've seen like clips, and it's like Gibbledang was saying, he likes movies, so he does like on Hollywood Boulevard, those people that dress up like as like Spider-Man or whatever, you know. And so he does that, but he dresses up as like a British cop,
Yeah, it's
and so he's there, and there's like people like Spider-Man and Batman in the background. I'm like, when did he dress up like an actual?
well, I don't even think we
I'm
see
British cop
Spider-Man
man.
or Batman in the background, but I think it's
Yeah.
and I think he dresses like a cop, just a standard cop, because it's copyright shit.
No, it's No,
But
well,
that's
yeah,
why.
but he literally puts on like a British hat,
Yeah,
and
he's
he's
like,
like,
oh, hello,
"Poppycock,
governor. He's walking
poppycock."
around doing an accent all
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
But
It's so
I think that's why it's like,
terrible.
why would anyone on Hollywood want to be caught with like a fucking British cop? It's like we want to go see fucking
yeah,
Bruce Won't isn't or Spider-Man or something.
Spooderman. Yeah, or at least like do legally distinct like Batman or some shit. You know, it's like
Scatman.
you could do something.
Ooh,
my
that's
favorite.
You mean Skibbity Toilet?
Another.
That's enough.
Oh gosh, that's a $1 in the,
That's a dollar,
the Skibbity jar.
No,
Nate.
he brought up Scatman. Skibbity Toilet's just
You
Scatman's
said it
head
twice.
put into a
That's
toilet.
$2.
Is that I didn't know Scatman was a fucking thing.
No, it's talking about
Mhm.
shit.
From that specifically, yeah. Anyways, another example we have is the Big Bang Theory, where a lot of the characters are like autism coded, but often like they're like seen as losers living with their mom, and a lot of it is like the joke is that they live with their mom, or they're like bazinga,
So-
you know, they're fucking
I
socially
looked into
inept.
that too, and I guess a lot of that is that they're coded that way. And I think this show came
Yeah.
out around the time where like same thing, like right before people really started seeing the nuances in autism.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of these characters are autistic coded. A lot of them are like kind of assholes to each other. And I think because of that, they
It's
don't
accurate.
want to outright be like, these characters are autistic because they're like, they want to have their cake and eat it too by having these characters be coded that way. But then if they came out and said it, it'd be like, oh, well, why are you portraying them as like incapable of fucking whatever, you know? So yeah, that's
It's like
that makes sense.
It's funny because like while their characterizations like fall short in a lot of ways, the one thing I do relate to is like the like being an autistic nerd, friends with autistic nerds, and having everybody involved at different times say things that are like wildly offensive or rude, and then other people just be like, "Yeah, that's just them." just like not.
We got used to it.
Not just they're so used to it that it's just like completely like just goes by them at that point.
Not for context, not like we don't hold each other accountable when, you know, not like we're out here saying things that are, you know,
no, not like offensive,
you know,
like
just
crazy
for context,
shit. No,
just
like mild,
that's
just
autistic Steve.
Irritating.
He likes to eat people.
Things, maybe. He's just a silly cannibal, you know. We're like,
he always shares though.
Steve.
He does share.
Well, he loves black people.
He's like, would you guys like some lady fingers? Would you like some lady fingers? They're actual lady fingers. I like black people.
Steve.
I like this character we're creating. We're making the mascot of autism, actually. For
just wait until the next
Nice.
D&D. The next Dumbgins and
Yeah.
Dumgins. Or Dumgins and Dumgins.
Oh, God.
There you go.
But did you guys have any other creeps or losers that you would like to add before we go to the final trope?
Well, funny enough, you know, with what I said about the, I guess, characters being autistic coded assholes, but not it being outright said, but fucking everyone from It's Always Sunny. I feel they're all on the different kind of spectrum, or at least like narcissists.
That's true.
Mac for sure has
yeah.
autism. Mac definitely has autism. Obsessed with karate.
Really? I was thinking Charlie.
Well, Charlie straight up has like a developmental
stability.
Yeah.
Because I see Mac has the high interest. The like stimming could be the karate as well.
Whereas
energy.
I feel like the Reynolds siblings.
It's like narcissists.
Yeah, I think they're just pure narcissists, which sometimes can be, you know, a lot of people don't know, but like people with autism spectrum disorder can be often misdiagnosed as having extreme narcissism, as like sociopathy, and it's like, but because of like the better understanding of the spectrum nowadays, it happens less and less often.
Yeah.
I did have one last creep. So I've talked about how excited I was to see this portrayal because, you know, they talked about how they were going to have ADHD, autism, they were going to be non-binary, just a lot of like representation that I wanted to see. I
think I know who this is.
And it was The Flash. It was going to be The Flash, but IRL creep stuff in movie, he is kind of a creep too, I guess. He's more of like the oh my god, autistic portrayed as like I don't get anything. I just don't understand people. What the heck is brunch? Well,
goofy confused.
Goofy confused, but
the comedic relief.
Yeah. What a big swing and a miss.
What a fucking portrayal.
Yeah. But I think
I mean, that movie had a lot going against it.
Okay, well, that's the thing. So I know a big part of it was it's tough because I was excited for The Flash when they announced all this stuff before the Justice League movie came out. Then when the Justice League movie was being made, Zack Snyder's daughter died and he had to step back, and then that's when Joss Whedon came in and they were just like, oh, make this movie like the Avengers. So they made shitty portrayals of every character, The Flash included, and it sucks that was the audience's first interaction with The Flash, was that he was this like fucking dumb Joss Whedon-y, like, oh, I don't know how things work. And then when they made the Flash movie, obviously that movie had all of its own problems, like, but even the fact that that characterization carried over was dog shit, and obviously the real life fucking Ezra Miller shit was dog shit. But yeah, that's the one that makes me like, man, what a big swing and a miss.
Yeah. I mean, it makes, you mentioned it, it's funny. It's like they're trying to build a fucking castle on top of like burned rubble, like from the get go. So it's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like with like just like Man of Steel was kind of like, yeah. Then Batman, Superman, that was like pretty like crappy in my opinion. And then fucking just keep getting. So it's like, of course, it's gonna get worse and worse. It's not gonna, try to find their legging. But anyways, let's move on to trope 4, which is the sudden autism. Nice. This one's so like fun. A little
surprise,
less common. Yeah. This one essentially is just like a character that already exists that's like retconned as autistic. I didn't find too many, so feel free to add as well. But some examples of Power Rangers. Billy Cranston in the movie, the 2017 movie, was made to be autistic. Which I haven't seen the movie, but I saw people say that they liked that it's like one of the first black representation of someone autistic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, my own biases, especially at the time, because that movie's coming up on like almost 10 years old, I think. I remember hearing that like, oh, the Blue Ranger is gonna be autistic, and I remember being like, okay, yeah, because they said that before anything. They're like, oh, he's gonna have autism.
First things first.
The Blue Ranger is autism.
Also, we're making
Also, we're making Power Rangers. And I remember being like, okay, that's gonna be interesting to see how they portray it. Like looking back on it now, the character does have autism, but it's not like it actually is kind of a good portrayal, or at least from what I can remember.
Yeah,
it's not like I don't know how to get this or that. Like
they don't overdo it a whole bunch. Mm-hmm. They don't like really deeply stereotype it. I think something. I mean, I still maintain a little bit of fondness for that new Power Rangers movie, and I still wish they hadn't canceled the series, and because I wanted them to make that sequel, because there were things wrong with it, but like I don't know. I also had a good time watching it, and I liked a lot of concepts that they put into it. I liked making the actual Rangers themselves more outcasts rather than just like normal teens who just have a little bit more attitude than your average teen. It's like I kind of like that their whole point was that they're all people who deviate from the norm, and that's like why they're made for that, why they're better suited to do something like this. And I thought that was an interesting part of the Blue Rangers like character arc in that movie, was that like most of the characters in that movie see themselves as like broken because they're not normal, and they have to like kind of just accept themselves for who they are. And it doesn't mean that the way they're broken gives them some type of advantage or a superpower or anything like that. It's just they have to be them. And I thought that was very nice.
Which I wanted to interject, because I was wondering if because at the same time, the more I was remembering, and I'm like, fuck, does it go back and end up being autism as a superpower a bit? Because I can't really remember. I forgot if he knows how to immediately read or activate Zordon's ship or something like that, if he's the first one to do it. Or if I'm just making that up. Yeah. But I know he's the first one to transform. But I do think that's because of what you were saying, Nate, where he's the one that understands himself the most.
I think, yeah, that's kind of how they play it up, is that he's the least bogged down by other people's expectations of him, and that's where they kind of get into the autism.
But that's because his world is sunshine and rainbows.
Stereotypes, he more easily ignores the viewpoints of other people who aren't him, and so he is able to kind of get over his own self-doubt faster than the other characters. But yeah, I think they walk the line, and they walk the line well, which is another reason why I think it would have been nice for them to take another shot and give us like
a better version,
just a better version with a Goldar that doesn't
teenagers
look like
with
that.
autism. It's TWA.
One's autistic, one's ADHD. Like instead of a T-Rex, it's ADHD. The pterodactyl, it's autism. Just like the whole DID for
and
one
then
of
the last,
the
last member is ADHD, but that's because they forgot that they already put ADHD, so they got two ADHDs. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Me too.
God, I was so into Power Rangers as a kid.
I know.
Sorry.
You talked about it, I think, during one of the last episodes. You're like, I'm so mad about Power Rangers, and we're like, what? We're not talking about Power Rangers this week.
Yeah,
I'm always talking about Power Rangers.
I'm always
all right.
GymleaderNate pulls out the wallet and like Wolverine meme, like with the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah,
the whole movie's in his wallet.
It's every representation of Power Rangers ever made.
Yeah, but I want to jump into Mr. Fantastic / Reed Richards. But before I get
Let's
into
talk about Power Rangers,
do you guys have anyone else that you know of?
Do
Do you guys have anyone else though that's been retconned to be autistic that you are
So
aware of?
recently, this got the voice actor into a lot of hot water. But I think Tom Kenny
Ooh, fun.
came out and said that SpongeBob was autistic. He did it at
Oh.
like a
Yeah.
voice actor panel or
They-
something.
I didn't
at
know
a
he said
panel.
that. Okay.
I believe they also made like an announcement too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
on-
Mhm.
It was
Oh,
for
they-
autism
like,
awareness.
official?
Yeah,
they
it was
made
like
an
him in the
official,
puzzle
piece or
SpongeBob
something.
is
Well-
autistic.
This slide's officially outdated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
So yeah, I feel like
Wait, so I'm like, he's in hot water because he announced it, or like?
yeah, because
I'm just curious, like, what's the
think-
if it's official? I'm like,
what was it? I think it was something where like it wasn't said, and until he said it, they were kind of like, oh, now we gotta make it a thing.
then-
You know what I mean?
then we'll double
But
down.
we'll see.
Got
I
it.
mean,
I think it was like an internal understanding of the character that he kind of like let slip.
Hmm.
And our news, whatever
Mhm.
we talk about, it's not
Okay.
entirely accurate. So we are.
No, it's
They're-
our vague remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I remember from someone telling me, I
But
think, once.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, he was on the list of like headcanon or like autism coded.
Yeah.
Like I have a section later. He's literally on there
Yeah.
for that because I didn't know about this news. So oops.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, Gym Leader Nate. Do you have anyone that's suddenly autistic that you would want to bring up before I move on to the
No, I can't.
Mr. Fantastic?
can't think of any autistic retcons off the top of my head, to be honest.
No. No worries.
I don't know. I'm trying to look. I'm gonna look at all my action figures and see.
Who's
I think
autistic?
Bumblebee from Transformers. I think they said he's autistic.
Mhm.
He's
Nice.
not. Yeah, in the most recent movie series, he starts out nonverbal.
Yeah, and then all he
Yeah, he repeats what he
only
hears on the
communicate-
radio.
All he does is
communicates
just
in movie
quote things.
quotes.
Yeah.
yeah.
God damn, I said that as a joke, but
I mean, yeah, maybe we get autistic coding.
yeah, well,
Yeah, if not, we can always, like I said, we can come back if there's ever any that come to mind. But I wanted to say Mr. Fantastic because he also leads me into my next section, which I am excited for. Media's cures for autism. This is some media representations I found where they cure autism. And Mr. Reed Richards himself is on this list,
Oh.
potentially. So these are media's quote-unquote, I'm quoting listeners, you can't see, cures. So we first one I want to, so every now and then we get a potential cure to rid us, quote-unquote cure of autism. I wanted to show and kind of go over some possible cures that media has come up with. So first one actually is the 1969 film. It's called Change of Habit. It's actually the first film to depict autism, or one of like the first. one of
and the first to cure it.
It's a musical.
Wow.
Yeah, all in one.
Incredible.
Like we found an autistic girl, we cured her. But Elvis
One and done, boys.
Presley is, I think it's like his last movie. Him and Mary Tyler Moore cure a girl with autism using rage reduction therapy. It's fucking just. I saw the clip. Yeah, go ahead. You have your hand up.
Mary Tyler Less.
Nice. Divorce Tyler Less.
Well, it's not married,
Yeah.
so it would be divorce Tyler Less. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, divorce Tyler Less. Gotcha.
Tense
We're
is,
glad we got to the bottom of that.
tense is important.
Yeah, so they solved her with rage therapy. It's fucking. I saw the clip. It's just stupid. It's wild. Next, we have the next film is 1999's film Molly. The titular character receives brain cell transplants and becomes more verbal and social from the transplant, though she does regress after a few months, apparently.
Oh, the autism was too strong, I guess.
Yeah, she unfortunately the cure didn't take.
Shit, what is it? She has a brain cell transplant. Okay, dude.
Yeah, yeah. We
Okay.
found the most social man in the world, and we gave you his brain cells, and now we got you a podcaster, so now you're talking all the time.
Yeah, no dumb idea.
But- so that's-
So we got
yeah.
you Gym Leader Nate's
Yeah.
brain cells. You also really like Pokemon now.
It's just silence.
And so the next one we have is 2003. We have a comic in Aquaman Volume 6, Number 8. If you'd like to take it away, Gibbledang. I mean,
What's this?
You can read it, or if you want to.
God, so this says 2003, but I swear to God, this is like way older. In Aquaman Volume 6, Number 8, it is revealed that Black Manta had autism and was sent to Arkham Asylum as a kid. While fighting Aquaman, the hero uses his magical hand to cure Black Manta of his autism. I thought it was established that he had autism like in the 70s. I swear to God, he's been like, I want to say he's been autistic way longer.
That's what my research showed, but it's not like I could find and track down Aquaman number 8.
So this is a weird. I feel like this is weird because I've seen the like portrayal of it, and he has autism, but it's in like a way that I've never seen, which is also interesting and why I kind of like it. He's hyper focused on, like, his autism is his superpower almost, but he's hyper focused on ruining Aquaman's life, and he doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about, like,
it's a hyperfixation.
Yeah,
sure.
he misses social cues for sure. His son, Black Manta, has a son who I believe is Aqualad, and Aqualad is gay. And there's an issue where they have to work together, I think, and that's a more recent one. I think at one point, because you've seen the Black Aqualad, right? He has blonde hair, and he's got the orange.
Yeah, so I thought you were talking about the whole, like, from the 70s and 80s.
No, that's Black Manta's son. There's an issue where they're, like, swimming together. They have to work together or something. And Aqualad's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm gay. And Black Manta's like gay, straight, sexuality, all that stuff doesn't matter. I don't care about all that stuff. And I don't know if he ends it with, like, I just want to kill Aquaman or something, but he's like,
so
he's like literally
like
all my hyperfixation is Aquaman. And
God,
at one point, yeah, I at one point, Aquaman has he's got that healing water hand, or a healing hand made of water.
Yeah, because he loses his hand, and he gets, like, a hook hand, and then he replaces it with, like, a magical healing hand, like, water hand.
So he becomes a Avatar Last Airbender waterbender, so he can heal people.
I don't know if he could actually water bend, but he has a water hand. Like, it's
for, like, a
it's
while.
like a.
It's
I guess
made of
16
water.
ounces. I guess if you could turn my hand into water and put it in a cup, maybe it'd be, I don't know, it's a tiny hand.
My hand's bigger than
maybe
16
32 ounces.
I don't know.
Floating right there.
Oh, it's 24.
But he attempts to cure fucking Black Manta. Black
okay.
Manta's like, oh my god, you did it. And I think they quote unquote work together until Black Manta's he does a heel turn, and Aquaman's like, I thought I cured your autism.
Yeah.
And Black Manta's like, you fucking idiot, you can't cure autism. I'm autistic as shit. I'm gonna hate you no matter what.
Nice.
He's like, wow. So my autism was why
that was literally,
I was evil and hated you? Wow.
That was literally how it was, like, portrayed in the comic, because he literally turned good. And so it's, like, literally like, okay, you're fucking, it's so bad. That one was fucking wild. Yeah, and actually leading into we have a couple more. So 2006, the TV show Eureka. Have you guys seen this or no? The show Eureka?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay.
No, I've heard about Eureka, but I never watched it.
There's apparently a character named Kevin Blake, who's autistic, and to cure his autism, he time travels in the 4th season, which cures him of autism as he's in a new timeline.
Oh, nice.
And I believe, like, from what I've read, his mom wanted to, like, undo it because she liked how he was before or something. But it's just like, wait, you time travel to fucking, I don't even understand how that works. Like, I don't know, like, I don't. Well, I would have to see the show for the context, I guess.
Listeners, if you've played Pokemon before, and you've tried to start with the shiny Pokemon, you just keep soft resetting. You soft reset, you soft reset, you soft reset, until boom, there you go.
Until you get it.
So, with that being...
That's fair.
So he would have to have had consciousness back to being a sperm, I guess? So he would have to time travel back to being a sperm, go into the egg, see how he comes out.
You guys don't remember your sperm days?
Well, since we're not autistic, I guess that's probably the problem. That's a superpower of autism, right? You can remember your sperm days.
Yeah, I got that super memory. I remember swimming around.
And then the last one I just wanted to bring up is the Reed Richards, as I was mentioning. And this one's interesting to me because he, in 2011/2012, in one of the miniseries, he self-diagnosed himself with autism because he's just so smart, and then immediately began working on a cure. Like, immediately. It's like, I'm autistic. I'm going to fix this. And it's like, first of all, it's like, what the fuck? Like, first of all, you can't self-diagnose. Like, I mean, I don't care if you're the most smartest man in the world. That's so fucking weird. Second of all, like, that would change your personality. You would change as a person wholeheartedly. Like, if you were to figure out how to do that, I don't even know how you would. But it's just such a wild, like, retcon. I don't know if it's actually been used since.
Would that have been Ultimate or regular universe?
It was Fantastic Four season 1, which I think is regular.
Okay.
I mean, maybe in the Ultimate he also might be, but this specific comic that I saw was like, it's called season 1. Yeah, and again, I don't know if that's been a thing that's like come back or not, but it's fucking wild.
God, that's insane.
Yeah, or I guess, I don't know, do you guys have any other characters that you
Yeah.
know that have been cured of autism that you'd like to bring up? If not, that's fine.
I feel like
I
I feel like there's one, but I'm
Not
not.
that I can think of,
I'm gonna
no.
remember after this. Like someone got hit in the head with a bat, and then they're just like, "Wow, I'm fucking
wow,
wow,
not autistic anymore.
yeah."
Wow.
Yeah,
I understand
that guy's
facial
happy.
expressions now. You happy I got hit with that bat?
It's like, oh, that guy's happy, and it's the guy holding the bat.
Yeah, just beating the shit out of you. Knock it back into him.
You get cured right before you die from the
The next hit
three
like makes you
hits.
autistic again. Just like on and
Oh
off
my-
switch.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my god.
Anyways, but speaking of, like, let's talk about ASD coded and headcanon characters. So these are characters that, you know, are never, for best or worse, you know, they can be representations of someone that has these types of behaviors or neurotypical conditions. Another thing though is like sometimes there's like this thing I saw is called ambiguous disorder, where it's like a character has some, like Forrest Gump is an example where they never outright say what he has, but it's highly presented or like headcanon that it's autism. But yeah, so for some examples we have Tails. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree?
You know, it's
that
funny.
he's potentially
Well, it's so funny.
Why,
when I was looking
why
it up,
Tails?
he came out.
Earlier you said Sonic, which that's a given. Now you say Tails. Before we got into this, I was thinking Knuckles, but then I just realized, yeah, of course, the entire Sonic fucking fandom and everything there is just kind of because I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
Knuckles
somewhere on
is
the
like,
spectrum,
or at least
yeah.
in the movie, he doesn't understand like social cues or you know, fucking. I don't know. I feel like the entire Sonic verse
cast of maybe that's why, honestly.
Tails is
Yeah.
savantism, autism, and then
Creep.
Sonic is the
Yeah.
ADHD crossover
Yeah,
side
shit.
of can't stop moving, can't stop stimming.
Shadow's like the edgy, like autistic, likes guns.
Oh yeah, Shadow's the one who's
Yeah,
evil
Shadow's
because he's
evil.
autistic.
We had
right?
the aforementioned
Oh my
SpongeBob,
God.
but unfortunately he's now.
yeah.
Thanks.
That's a great picture.
We have
Oh yeah, true.
Me waking up in
a
the
couple.
morning.
Maybe if Gibbledang wants to talk about a couple of
Pearl
Steven
and
Universe
Peridot,
characters.
for sure. So Pearl is one of the main protectors of like she's one of the crystal gems from Steven Universe. They're like the main cast, the Goku-esque characters. That girl, that whole
Another character that's coded,
that whole show is just DBZ for queers. I mean that in the best way.
Yeah.
Or the LGBT DBZ.
Ooh, I love it.
And Pearl is
Nice.
I wanna see
she's
that.
very rigid, she's very controlling, she's a good character, she's a hero, but any change in schedule will drive her nuts. She's like the almost like manic, everything has to be perfect kind of. Yeah.
She's very
And-
routine oriented.
Peridot, she was the villain turned hero ally. She's my favorite character in the show.
After they cured her autism.
She develops a cure. No, she is the God. I don't want to compare her to Sheldon, but she's like short. She's not really. She used to be fickle, like easily annoyed, but still very like kind, like with a big heart. Misses social cues all the time. Very relatable. I love her. I love Peridot. But yeah, they're both definitely on the same kind of. Oh my God, Tina from Bob's Burgers. That's. Oh my
Tina's
God,
in the
that's
That's
Bob's
so
genius.
funny. I didn't think about that. Well, okay. Hold on. I feel like Bob's Burgers
Yeah.
does not count to me because the whole entire point of Bob's Burgers is they make every
That's
character socially inept.
Yeah.
Every single character is an
Like the comedy
asinine
is
portrayal
that,
of
like the
socializing with
socializing
other
is
people.
That's
yeah,
tough.
that's
yeah,
fair.
like that's
but-
just the comedy. The comedy is nobody understands anyone ever, and everyone just goes with their first instinct, which is always ridiculous. And it's just like how they write the show.
And for her, she's just an awkward teen. So they just ramp that up to...
yeah, she's just supposed to be
Gotcha.
an awkward teen girl.
That's fair. These are some of the ones I collected from like lists of other people's.
No,
like,
Dolly, you're wrong.
like headcanons.
No, you're
and, like,
wrong. It's on
I'm
you.
wrong, yeah.
This is on you. Don't
I
deflect.
am. One I did want to bring up, actually, I didn't put a picture for, but GymleaderNate, maybe you can help, is Abbott from Community.
Yeah.
I believe is coded, right? Or has it been confirmed that he's autistic?
Abed.
Abed, sorry.
Who?
I had that.
Oh, Abed. Yes.
Is he coded or is he
Yes,
like officially diagnosed? Or like you know what I mean?
got diagnosed in 2016.
I'm trying to remember if he.
Yeah.
Oh. So he's canonically
That's what I thought, okay.
undiagnosed.
So it's like, but like highly.
But they all treat him as if like he himself also multiple times will reference the fact that he probably has a developmental disorder. He's literally said those exact words, where there's an episode where they are assigned lab partners and all of them get assigned with random classmates and they want to be partners within their friend group. And so they're all explaining to people, to their partners, why they don't want to be their partner. And as they go to everybody's reasons, Abed literally just goes, "I probably have I probably have a developmental disorder," and then it cuts to Jeff saying the same thing to get out of it and going, I probably have an
I think I remember
Star Wars. Cool.
Just
like that's pretty good.
So, as someone who's seen that show more than us, would you say that Abed is like accurate, or what would you say of that portrayal?
Like, what would you rate him? How would you rate his autism?
There are some times they fluctuate it, and they fluctuate it based off what they need for the story, and that's kind of the point. So it's like there's times where he is just your average person who has autism, and he's just like, "Oh, I just like watching movies and eating buttered noodles." Like that's a big thing for him, is that he really likes buttered noodles, and it's the only thing he eats for dinner. Like things like that are a lot closer to, like, I feel like hit a lot closer to the home. But then there's also other episodes where they do basically treat him like he has superpowers, and they'll like throw him something and like literally be like, "Abed, you're a computer. Look at these. Which one of those is
amplify
what we're
it?"
supposed to do?" And he's like,
just like immediately.
Like,
that's awesome. That's like so dumb.
Yeah, but there's also an episode where they literally comment on that, where the dean goes, "Abed, you're basically," or he goes, "Abed, your brain's kind of fucked up. Can't you just look at the crime scene and figure out what happened?" And he like goes in, he's like, "I'm seeing developmental disorders portrayed as a story device. Just so many autistic TV detectives. It's overwhelming."
Perfect.
And they just leaves the room.
Nice. I do want to bring him up too, because like when there's apparently a story where when Dan Harmon, the writer, was creating the show, and when he would make it was Abed, the character, he actually recognized, I think, through making him, like, because I think people were like, "Oh, he's autistic," and he was like, "Shit, like I made him after me."
Autistic, yeah.
And I think that's how he found out he was like diagnosed, or he got diagnosis of autism after that, which like also again at an adult age. Actually, funny enough, that actually happened recently as well with what's her name? Bella Ramsey's from Last of Us.
Yeah,
she recently, like, I guess, received a diagnosis after like one of the crew members was like, "Hey, I think you might."
It
was like
a light man maybe or something, like after. And so I guess maybe I haven't seen the show, but maybe I forget her name in The Last of Us.
He's like, "Dude, are you tisming right now?
Don't talk to me. I'm autistic."
Like it turns out like they spun it in a good way.
No, it's like she was in trailer one day, and the light man showed up with like a psychiatrist and was like, "Hey, I think you need some help."
Yeah, but I was gonna, now that you brought that up, that Abed thing. So that is like another whole, like a whole trope that's used in media, which is the autistic super detectives. And so, like, people who are especially good at solving crimes kind of fits into that savant, like, range. It's like a few that, like, come to mind immediately. You have, like, Spencer from Criminal Minds. You have Temperance from Bones.
Bones.
That's Bones from Bones.
From Sherlock.
And
Sherlock. I did see Sherlock was on a lot of head
Sherlock. People who are not downright like outright said to like be autistic,
Yeah.
but they're given like a standoffishness, a lack of picking up on social cues and things like that.
No, that's funny. That was another one I talked to my roommates about, but we kind of realized like, oh fuck, we're gonna be here forever when it comes to that, because when like daytime television is full of that shit.
Yeah.
The autistic detective, the autistic firefighter, the good doctor, like shit like that.
It's like anytime they make a team of anything, they're just like, and one of them's really smart and autistic and doesn't get social cues.
They should make a spin-off of like in the Good Doctor verse, right? Because we wondered like, oh, how did that guy become a doctor? But it should be the Good Cop, and you see how a character like that would be as a cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. God.
And each week
through police academy and
each
everything.
week the sheriff sits down with him. They're like, "Good cop. I don't know if you're fit to be a good cop." And he's just like, "I'm a cop. I'm a cop.
I am a cop. I am a cop."
The twist there is actually he's actually great at it, because in situations where he just like walks up to someone and be like walks up to a trans woman and is just like, "You're a man." Oh, the other guy,
you mean great at being
man
a cop.
in his place.
I thought you meant great at being a person or something. Okay.
Yeah, he's like great.
Yeah,
he's great
no,
at being a cop. No, he's bad at because they need to portray him as bad at
they call
being
the show
person,
the Great Cop.
Great at being a cop.
The Great Cop.
Oh shit.
The
Great
cop.
the best.
But the Great Cop.
There's a good doctor.
Okay, next. Let's move on.
Best
Let's move
cop.
on from this dumb idea.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, so the next couple slides are just about representations that we want to highlight or talk about. And first, we'll start off with bad representations. So I'll kind of go through. Oh,
nice. Okay.
First one we have is 2021's music.
I really wanted
Sia's
to bring
music,
this up,
where. Yeah, do you want to feel free to take over? Here, take away. Do you want to talk
popcorn reading? Okay, fine. Music 2021. No. Music is portrayed as a burden and a caricature. And anytime she has any kind of stims in her like real life, the characters tend to be like, "Stop doing that," or "What the fuck are you doing?" or like, "You're wrong for stimming."
They restrain her.
Yeah,
too,
they'll scream at her. They'll treat her like she's fucking like just this burden. And then all of her like you get viewpoints into her world and her perspective, and the entire world is a musical, colorful, candy, rainbows, and just dancing.
She's like presented as like a regular person in those worlds. Like she's able to move and not be stimming, and like it'd be like a typical person.
But also her physical portrayal as music when she's I guess not in her own world is insane. It's like, oh my god, it's so incredibly offensive. Like, I don't know how it got to this point, Yeah. Great stuff.
I feel like seeing it makes, I'm sure people like that have stims feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're like yelling at her, like stop, or throwing her to the ground to restrain her.
Have you heard of that one, Nate?
I have not heard of that one. That sounds literally crazy. I was doing a quick Google of it on my phone. That's why I was silent.
That's her face right there. If you want to see,
I'm glad you missed it. Yeah, there's her. That's what she looks like all the
motion,
time.
Like
for listener, the actress that played music, I don't go after her. It's Sia herself.
Yeah, go after. We're telling you to go after.
I guess go after Sia. No, because like there was like a interview where she was saying like, I think Sia was literally just like. She was crying, the girl that plays music.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can portray this. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of nervous. Like, I've never done this before. Because it's her first, like, big movie, too. And Sia was like, don't worry. I'll protect you.
Right.
Just
do
like,
whatever
not that
you
it's
want.
like, don't worry. We trained you. Yeah, it's like more just, it's fine. We'll protect you if things go bad. It's like, no. Give me the fucking,
make it accurate.
Get someone else to portray. Yeah. It's like,
she's just like, don't worry. It doesn't matter if we get it right.
I also wanted to talk about this one.
Like, that's what... Basically, the Amelia Perez approach.
Yeah, and then the next one we have is Unbreakable Boy, which Gibbledang, feel free to share about. You don't have to read it; you can just share.
No, I'll read it. I'll read it. So yeah, Austin, the Unbreakable Boy, the aforementioned Unbreakable Boy, is seen as a burden.
It's a shallow,
very
character,
shallow, very surface level,
like of development.
yeah, like it's I exist in movie quotes and just everything that you'd expect from like autistic stereotypes. And at one point, this is also one of those stories where IRL piece of shit Sean Levy, is it Sean Levy? I think probably Zachary Levy.
Where he plays with little boys. He
Zach
plays
Levy,
movies
yeah.
with little
Yeah.
boys.
The
The
I'm a boy
IRL
but I'm
piece
a
of
man
shit.
actor. His trilogy of I'm
Yeah.
a boy but I'm a man. What is it? Shazam 2,
Shazam,
and
Purple
then
Crayon.
Purple Crayon.
Purple Crayon 2. And then this.
No,
Kinda.
Shazam 2 and Purple Crayon.
Yeah.
But so Zachary Levy is he's also an alcoholic character. I don't know if this is his son or if it's like his stepson or whatever. But
It's his son.
it's
I
his
think.
son. He's basically, it's another instance of using this autistic character to prop up the main character in order for him to better himself. But basically at one point in the movie, I think this dude gets drunk and forgets to give Austin
Forgot
to give his medication.
Yeah.
Forgets to give his son his
Yeah.
medication. His son throws a tantrum, and then the parents are like, "Oh, our son is fucking nuts. Let's throw him in a mental institution." And
Mhm.
it's insane. I think it's I don't know if it's, I forgot how it ends, if they end up realizing they fucked up or if they just portray it,
I think they take him out.
or if they portray it like, okay, he did his time, it's all good, and then it's like, oh, all right.
He's good
We're all
now.
happy now.
Yeah. It's like literally misses medication once, and because of the parents too, and it's like we can't be accountable. Like we have to throw him, and I'm sure it ends on a happy note. Like, haha, perfect dad, family, like. But it's just like, what? That's so traumatizing. What the
And
fuck?
it's one of those portrayals of like, autism is Candyland and fairies and unicorns and fucking
Yeah.
gumdrops and rainbows in my head.
Yeah, and not the reality of the fact that like most of the time autism, like being
Yeah.
autistic in the normal world is terrifying.
The last one I have that I wanted to just kind of highlight or bring up was Love on the Spectrum, the like 2022 like dating show, which is exclusively for people with autism. Like they date each other, and I'm like, the main reason I'm like, this is it's hard to say it's a bad representation because it's actually just people with autism.
It's real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm more of a problem is that it's more exploitative. That it's like, look at these autistic people, like, haha, isn't it funny that they can't like do regular dating, like, and they're all awkward. So it's
gonna
like
have to be a...
that component is the part that's.
I feel like it's like so I've watched a bit of this show, because I was curious, and it's rough because I feel like it really varies from person to person. There are some people in this show who are, very high, like what would be, I know this is not a great term for it, but what would be normally, or a lot of times called high functioning. So they're like one of the people in this show. She is she's an ABA therapist for kids with autism as well as having autism. So she knows like kind of both sides of the coin, living with it and working with other people who who deal with this condition. So she like in instances like that, I find it much more interesting where she is an independent adult who like is doing it. Whereas then you go to other individuals who still live with their parents and have very low awareness levels of what's happening around them. And it starts to feel worse and worse because it starts to feel like it's like their family who wants to be on TV. And so they just kind of pimped out their autistic son or daughter to get exposure on this
I
show.
think it's
like all the
and
TLC
this
shows.
is gonna have to turn into an entirely different episode about reality television, because that's just the game. You know what I mean?
That's
So it's entirely.
that's the problem, like inherent.
Yeah, and the problem is that like a lot of people on reality TV show, it's like there's just a certain amount of it you can not think about because a lot of it is people volunteering themselves for it, and you're like, well, it's like you may have not known what you're getting into, but your lack of understanding of what you're signing up for is something that like I don't have to feel terribly bad about. Whereas, like, if it's someone who has no understanding of what they're being signed up for, really, in
Very
being forced
manipulative,
to go
very
through these
exploitative.
things.
That'd be a good episode.
Yeah. But yeah, before we move on to the good representations, any that you guys want to throw out that we didn't touch upon already?
I will touching back on Community. There are times where they kind of do it in a bad. Like, granted, again, they don't actually just straight up say that Abed is autistic, but there are times where it's a little much. Like I've said before, where they just kind of play it up because they need it for the comedy.
That makes
of the
sense, I
moment.
guess, maybe with what Gibbledang was saying earlier. Where it's
Yeah,
like we don't want to say that he's autistic because then we're making fun of it. But if we just like hint, like we can still make those jokes.
They just hint. He has some kind of what do they say, developmental disorder. Then it's like yeah. Whereas there's straight up a moment in the first season of the show where Abed says something very like truthful and hurtful to Jeff, where he's like, and Jeff just goes, yeah, well, you have Asperger's, and walks away.
Which is an outdated
It's
term
like,
for
holy
like high functioning autism.
Yeah.
Insane.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out that's
shit.
Nazi shit.
I didn't know that part.
Damn.
Yeah, he was
A Nazi.
I believe he was quite literally like an ex-Nazi researcher who basically tortured autistic people to find out which autistic people could like serve as normal functioning members of society, and that's who he labeled as not being autistic and instead having
the
his
superior
So
portrayals the bad portrayals aren't only in media, in reality too. But yeah, let's talk about some good. I curated a list of some good ones. Most of them I've not seen. Like I said, like I haven't seen too much. So I'm basing this on cross-referencing with other people. But yeah, the first one I did mention was The Accountant, which I mentioned earlier. Again, there's some parts of it that I like. It's problematic at parts, I'm sure too. But it also shows like the stress of like the family growing up as well. We also have
they're making a second one, so maybe the that one has the chance to and it's been 10 years since the last one.
Since then.
So
Almost.
maybe
or has it? Oh yeah, 2016.
Maybe this one will be a little more nuanced.
The next one I heard, I actually checked it out after. It's really pretty. It's actually probably one of the better ones I've seen. It's Loop from 2020. It's a Pixar short. It has a nonverbal character who actually is voiced acted by an ASD woman. And it's actually cool because they apparently watching like some of the videos of the making. They were like, yeah, we even because she was sensitive to I think the recording booth, so they actually went to her like elsewhere to like record, and it's just a good portrayal. It's pretty like straightforward. There's it's a girl going on a boat like ride with another kid like at a camp, and like the camp counselor's like, you're gonna go with her, and the guy's like kind of like, oh, like the other boy, and it's cool because he doesn't even out her as autistic or anything, and it's kind of like he just wants to like, oh, I just kind of want to like understand as well like her experience. The other one that I was recommended is Extraordinary Attorney Woo from 2022, which is kind of it's funny reading. It's very much like Good Doctor but good. So the main character, she's autistic, and she starts off the show I guess by trying to suppress her like behaviors, but then was like quickly like, no, actually, I'm just gonna be me, and is like accepted for it still, and like builds friends, and she still faces discrimination, but she just like works harder to overcome it or like, kind of work around it. I guess she has a special interest in whales, which she can use to like relate to the law to help her, I guess, like not like a superpower, but I guess to help her stay focused or like,
she has,
which that part,
like
I don't know,
Daredevil, she has echolocation, but she can see, and she's a lawyer.
and she's autistic.
He's lying, Your Honor.
You can tell he's lying.
Oh God.
Some other ones I've got. Julia from Sesame Street is a Muppet that was added who is autistic. This one's a manga. It's called With the Light, Raising an Autistic Child.
It's about Light from...
it's essentially...
It's Light's origin story from Death Note.
Oh, okay. I was like, Light. Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, little did you know, Light is actually autistic. Yeah, it's apparently though about like what it's like to be a single mom raising an autistic kid, and it's apparently pretty good. Another one I saw was Symmetra from Overwatch, which really I don't know if there's much because I know the game's mostly online, so it's like, but I think more so just to have that representation.
I think they confirmed all the players from Overwatch 2 are also autistic.
Yeah, little did you know you're autistic. It's like an autism test, like while you're playing.
It's just part of the game lore.
Yeah. But do you guys have any others that you would like to highlight, prop up, or that you're as far as good or like some decent portrayal?
Although problematic, I still I'm blanking on the character's name. I'm actually going to Google that real quick. From Alphas.
It's a show.
It was a canceled
close.
TV show. Gary was the character's name, but yeah, it was a TV show that ran on Sci-Fi. I'm trying to remember where it was airing. Yeah, it was. I thought there was at times it was very good, but take it with a grain of salt
For the
because
time, I'm sure.
I think it's very few and far between that we find representations that are fully like well done without drawbacks. I feel like the far majority there's usually something that's a little cringe about it, about how they're doing it. Yeah, I would say that one's still for me, like, I thought was interesting and well done, especially because they gave him an important part in the plot of that show, which I thought was really nice. Unfortunately, the show got canceled on a cliffhanger, and it seemed like he was going to be even more important. Where, yeah, the show, I'm assuming you guys will watch. A spoiler alert for anybody who is really down to go watch the 2 seasons of Alpha that exist. But like, somebody like activates. There's somebody they're hunting who has like the ability to has like psychic powers basically, and they like activate this effect that basically makes like everybody in the whole city that they're in fall unconscious.
Shit.
So every single person is unconscious on the ground, except for the autistic character, Gary. He's the only one who it didn't work on. And there's no reason given as to why, because that's the cliffhanger, is is all of a sudden walking around and he's like, hello. And he's like terrified because now everyone's unconscious and he's just alone. But
yeah,
it sucks because they were gonna make him a huge.
I'm wondering if there's like a spin-off like comic that continues.
Yeah, that's immediately what I was thinking.
I highly doubt it.
One of those comics that looks like hyper realistic because they want to capture the artist or like the likeness of the actors and shit like that. Or it's like based off of the sci-fi original Alphas issue 1.
Alphas,
and then that gets canceled.
Greg's in it too.
That gets canceled after.
The problem is that there were. Oh, here we go. That was the guy who wrote it. I was pretty sure that it was wrote by somebody who's done other notable things.
Oh yeah,
and it was written by Zach Penn.
Star Trek.
So he literally did the story.
He's done a lot of stuff.
So
like
he was one of the writers for the Avengers.
Yeah.
X2,
Triple X2,
Last Stand.
Damn. Just kidding.
He did both of those. Yeah, Triple X. The Incredible Hulk.
A lot of MCU
Eddie
stuff
Norton.
for like Marvel. That's
the
cool.
Edward Norton one. What is now technically MCU stuff, yeah.
So one that I really want to recommend. Well, it's a podcast that I've talked about on the show before, or a podcast host rather. But Rick Glassman, he's someone that I found I think towards the end of last year. I think he's hilarious. He's very witty comedian. Who I think he's in his he's like 40 or something, but I bring that up because in his early 30s he was diagnosed with autism, and he said that like it changed his entire life and it made him have like such a better understanding of himself, and it was something where he looked back on his life and he was like, oh shit, like moments where I reacted this way someone reacted this way, and it was all because of this, which for me I was like damn, because once I realized I might be on the spectrum as well, that like I had the exact same kind of process where I'm just like, oh fuck, like did I just not realize these things, like
Man, that is such a startling and like powerful thing when you re-examine your life with that lens. Like for me, like nonverbal shutdowns is a huge thing I suffered from for a long time growing up. and I had no explanation as to why my
Yeah.
parents were yelling at me and
Yeah.
and then I would shut down and have it and be unable to talk back to them, and they would just
like,
yell at me
yeah.
to talk, and it just made it worse. And it's like, looking back, it's so it's hard sometimes, but it's also sometimes really healing
Yeah.
to be able to forgive yourself for those
Mhm.
things, and to know that
you
like
gotta
there were
accept-
certain
yeah,
things
and that's
outside
that's
of
something
your
that like he
control.
brings up too. That it's kind of
And
you gotta like you gotta accept it, and it doesn't. It just kind of it's just another piece of you. You know what I mean?
Work with it rather.
Yeah, you roll with it.
just like kind of help figuring out how
And
how to
Mhm.
work with it, or how do you work
and
better.
it's one of those things where I might have said this too before, but like never did I relate to. I try not to relate to or like see myself or with not famous people, but like the media I consume, like separate
Like
separate
other-
yourself
yeah,
from like
yeah.
like
Like
personalities.
but holy shit, like listening to that, even listening to the way that he communicates whenever he has an issue or he has a question, I'm just like, holy shit, I feel like this is like I am listening to myself, if that makes sense. It's weird. I don't
Yeah.
like doing that. But but yeah, no, he's fantastic. Rick Glassman. He used
Good portrayal of autism, you think?
good portrayal of autism, but I know that I haven't seen it,
But yeah.
but he was on like this award-winning show. I think he's got an award for it too.
Nice.
Called
Oh, shit,
As
okay.
We See It, where it's about 3 autistic roommates and their dating lives and how they interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's also funny because he I think he's 42, but he does look really young because he's like tall and skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
in
When you said that, I was like,
in
oh,
the
damn.
show, he's like 20 something, but like he fucks with a lot of guests or makes a lot of passing jokes. He's like, yeah, I'm 22.
Oh, you mean in real life he's 42? I thought at first you meant the character he's 42 in
Yeah.
real life. Oh,
Yeah, he looks like really
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
It's all the autism. Keeping
It's
him
all the
young.
autism. Yeah, it's true.
It's that autism,
kidding.
the next step in human evolution that's keeping him young. You know.
I looked at. He's 40. He's 40. Yeah. In July though, he turns 41.
Still, though.
Yeah.
Still.
No. Either way, yeah, he looks really damn
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That looks cool. As we
Yeah,
see it.
check out that podcast. Really funny stuff. Also, it's funny. I so I was like, I heard the way he communicates and the way he talks. I'm like, oh my god, I love this guy. And then it turns out that he loves goblins, and his logo and his he calls his fans goblins,
funny.
and I'm just like, oh, tight, even better. And then he's obsessed
Yeah.
with Magic the Gathering, and he's got a bunch of like videos where he's
no
opened
shit, I
up
didn't know
like thusans of dollars worth of shit.
Let's go.
we gotta get our a side podcast going where you guys open
Yeah.
packs on mic. You just hear.
I'm
On
like,
my
yeah, it's just all. It's it. What's it
Oh
called?
shit! I got this one.
ASMR.
But yeah, that's
But yeah,
Recky Mendes.
nice. Yeah, the last part, just real quick. Like, I guess a quick like closing statement thing. This is to media. What's something that you guys want to tell media on how to get like autism portrayals? Like, go make it from autism to autism with an AWE-tism. Like, how should media? Like, I don't know if you guys were to say like a statement or like how to do it.
Actually
better.
get autistic creators. Actually get like autistic.
I think that's the
insight,
biggest autistic actors.
Autistic actors.
Like yeah.
like
I think that's the biggest one is have
Yeah.
actual autistic people play autistic characters if you want it to have any semblance of realism.
I want to see people with
Like-
burnout. Like, fuck, if you're gonna make an autistic superhero, like, show me a superhero
So
with
true.
burnout. Show me a superhero,
Mm,
or like, show
mm.
me an autistic character that's like, I don't know, just so like not
Like they
perfect, but
go
also
nonverbal
yeah,
or something.
like,
Or,
it's
Like they
literally
have their-
non-verbal shutdown is they ignore
It's-
that aspect of it completely. They instead go into this realm of all autistic people when they get overwhelmed start like
Can't stop
screaming and
talking.
crying
Yeah.
and running out of
pissing and
rooms
shitting
Yeah.
and pooping.
and
They
like
just repeat, I'm a
pissing and
surgeon, I'm a
shitting
surgeon.
and- yeah,
I'm a
and
surgeon.
I love
like
black people.
like which is just like, and so I just think I don't know. I just think A of all, there's a lot more to the spectrum and to people on the spectrum, and I think
Mhm.
B of all, keeping the fact that they're on the spectrum decentralized from why they're important to the story.
Yeah.
I think that is like seeing the person as a person, and they are characterized by things about them, and one of those things happens to be that they're autistic, is always going to be better than a character who is shoved into a movie for the sole reason of having an autistic person there for a plot device. So
the MacGuffin, the Deus Ex Autism.
Yeah.
So, essentially.
Exactly.
But no.
So,
all right, media, you heard it here first. But thanks again, listeners, for joining us in our little. I don't know, it's like a more serious. What was that?
You're aware.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
first.
Aware.
Yeah. You've learned about autism, and now go out and fight
do
for
it.
us now.
If you want to see it firsthand, follow me at GymleaderNate.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, listeners, if there's any representations you feel like we missed, please send them to me to Dala.art on Instagram. And what about you, Gibbledang? Where can they reach you?
Well, you can see my custom action figure painting account at Gibbledang. So there you go. First-hand evidence there. Yeah.
Talk about awareness.
Why don't we give it up to first-hand evidence
autism.
right there? Yeah, I guess autism first.
Yeah, what's up to Autism Awareness Month, baby?
Shout out to Super Detective.
Shout out to the great
Shout out
cop.
to SpongeBob.
Shout out to the great cop.
The
best cop.
The
bestest.
Oh my god.
Shout out to being rude on accident. Let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to pissing on the floor because you're mad at Nate.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's so stupid. It's funny.
Shout out to trying to cure autism.
Time travel.
Shout out to Autism Speaks as an organization. Fuck those people.
Are they
shout
bad?
out to
They mostly focus on trying to eradicate autism, which feels wrong.
Oh,
but anyways,
nice.
God.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
shout out to going to a bar in Boston and walking in and yelling, "I love black people."
yeah.
And Ben Affleck's like, I
Affleck's
agree.
like, yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh my god. Shout out to
Oh. All right, yeah. Let's
Sorry,
do
that was
it.
me going not verbal.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for listening to No Dumb Idea.